maybe it's me, but I feel like fast food pricing has gotten a little bit out of control. Used to be, I'm a working mom. I've got twin 15-year-olds that eat my entire household. So every once in a while, you want to save some time. You might DoorDash. You might hit the drive-thru. We've talked about this before, and I got a lot of grief for it when I spoke about an $80 Taco Bell run that I did with my twins. And I'm like, what are you guys eating? What happened? Right? So it seems with inflation, especially in groceries, a lot of people tried to pivot into fast food, which used to be the case, right? You could find some kind of marginally caloric-filled meal away from home for a lower price. And now it really begs the question, what's less expensive? Eating at home? Eating out? Quick service? What is it? Pricing for fast food has completely gone outer limits. And what's happening now is consumers are pulling back. So there's a conflict right now in financial news media where everyone's talking about how great the economy is, okay? But who is it great for? And you hear about this. Oh, it's a tight labor market. Oh, there are lots of jobs. Well, those jobs are part-time jobs that are being created. No full-time jobs are being created. And Mike and I spoke about this last week. And now what you're seeing, so you can hear all the noise that the administration wants to tell you about how great things are, but when you're at the gas pump filling up, that gas prices have increased. When you're at the grocery store and you're in the checkout line or the self-checkout line, which we'll get to in a moment, things are more expensive. And when you're trying to buy pizza, when you're trying to buy burgers, when you're trying to buy Taco Bell, and you see how expensive things are, consumers will retrench. You will vote with your wallet. And now we're seeing with the stock market that these publicly traded companies like Starbucks, like Yum Brands, which owns KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, their stocks are tanking. And they're openly talking about consumers are pulling back. And that's what I pay attention to in my capacity as a consumer analyst, right? So where are people shopping? What are they doing? And it's funny because when I talk to clients of mine, they'll try to indicate demand by, who's in the drive-thru, or they went to Target, their wife went to Target, and the parking lot was packed. Therefore, they think that that's a great stock to own. So all these hilarious metrics don't mean anything in a non-store environment. When I say non-store, I mean online sales, right? So when you look at Starbucks tanking, Taco Bell, Yum Brands, what does that say about the U.S. consumer? So are these brands pricing out their consumers? And also, where are people shopping alternatively to supplement in this environment?
While grocery prices were up 26%, many people like Laura Najiri of Tampa, Florida, are shopping around for the best prices on groceries by going to multiple stores.
I learned how to map out where those things are going to be less expensive.
She says she visits roughly 4 different grocery stores weekly.
I don't mind putting in the extra time because it does ultimately save my family money.
Okay, so another bit of news that Mike and I discussed is 99-cent stores are closing, and a lot of the dollar stores and Dollar Tree stores are closing. Okay, so Mike and I always talk about a bifurcated market with the consumer. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the high-end consumers are thriving. Okay, so folks that were flush during COVID remained flush and actually made more money. So the high-end, that upper quintile, they're fine. Then you have the lower end that are spending money, and the middle class is kind of treading water. Well, now, where do you go from dollar stores? So it used to be folks would trade down from Target to go to Walmart. And Walmart is such a bellwether in knowing what's going to happen with the consumer and what they're doing. As a matter of fact, they just retrenched all of their telemed and walk-in, minute clinics. So it was interesting because they have such a touch on the consumer and what they're doing. They know exactly how much you're spending. They know exactly how frequent people are spending frequently with their SNAP cards, and their check cashing and payday loans and all the things that they do. They really know what's happening with the U.S. consumer. So when you see that happening, something's wrong. So everything filters down, right? And that's just basic economics 101. And you are going to supplement that in another way. So many people right now are trying to supplement where they're buying their food from everywhere from a CVS, the grocery stores, dollar stores. So the consumer is hurting. And it's just a matter of time. And so now when you see these stock prices reflecting that, that's when I start paying attention. And so I usually see things about 6 months out. And Mike and I were talking about this earlier. Cracks are starting to show in the consumer. But yet all of the headlines that you hear are how powerful the job market is and how the Fed won't cut. So what happens with the Fed when they, we were promised all of these cuts and the stock market pulled that in and reflected that, right? So there's always a big gap between Main Street and Wall Street. And what happens when that Fed stays higher for longer?
Many economists point to the U.S.'s historically low unemployment rate and a deceleration in consumer spending as reasons why our economy is strong. But stubborn inflation means the Federal Reserve is reluctant to drop interest rates as forecasted. An interest rate cut would make it cheaper to borrow money, making things like homes and cars more affordable. The economy and inflation are the top issues heading into the election, according to a new ABC News Ipsos poll.
It's the economy, stupid, right? That was such an election tagline years ago. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I think most Americans would say they aren't. And when you're looking at things like fast food, all of the fast food pricing has increased 60%. I'm just going to throw some numbers out here to you. The amount of same-store sales, so that's a metric we use in retail to see how the stores are actually performing, each store. So Starbucks is down 3%. KFC is down 2% globally. Pizza Hut down 7%. Wingstop is up 21%. What is going on with Wingstop? Ladies, please do tell. I love me some wings. I did not know they were thriving in such a manner. But McDonald's actually has increased the most. Fun fact, those of you that follow Wall Street, we have the Big Mac index. And so globally, you can Google this. It will show you the price of a Big Mac in every country that you're in. And it's kind of a bellwether for consumer demand all around the world. Well, I shudder to think what the Big Mac index is in the U.S. right now. We were talking earlier with Jim Sharp about, buying a breakfast sandwich in Hawaii, and it was $20. So, look, sometimes you need a bacon, egg, and cheese. I love that, right? But are you going to spend $20 on it? It's the scary thing. So all of this stuff trickles down, right? So inflation and mortgage rates, all of this stuff flows through.
Thanks for watching The Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.